Among right-aligned and anti-woke symbolic capitalists, it has become popular to analogize wokeness to a new religion, a faith embraced primarily by highly educated and relatively affluent whites who have abandoned mainline Protestantism. In line with this narrative, the most popular term for referring to the period of rapid normative and discursive change that began after 2010 in the United States is the Great Awakening, a clear analogy to the Great Awakenings of the 18th and 19th centuries. This comparison is not without its virtues. There is compelling empirical evidence that highly educated, relatively affluent, religiously unaffiliated white liberals are increasingly leaning on politics to replace religion. Polls and surveys consistently show that non-religious and irreligious Americans are perhaps the most politically involved groups in the country, participating in many political activities at a rate double that of white evangelicals. Progressive politics in particular seems to increasingly serve as a means through which highly educated, relatively affluent whites find purpose, transcendence, and community in their lives in the absence of religion, sometimes directly at the expense of religion. As political scientists David Campbell, Jeffrey Lehman, and John Green put it, all in all, our evidence suggests that secularism is connected to the aggressive liberalism that is ascendant in the contemporary Democratic Party. Secularists are among the most liberal activists in the Democratic camp. They prioritize ideological goals, they blanch at calls for intra-party harmony and compromise, and they zealously oppose compromise with the GOP. Secularists are also, the authors illustrate, predominantly college-educated whites. Genealogically speaking, the concept of social justice in its recognizably modern form is itself a religious concept. It was first coined by Catholic theologian Luigi Tapparelli in the mid-19th century and was later adapted by Protestants and eventually secularized by symbolic capitalists. Many of the attitudes and dispositions now associated with wokeness are derivative of the anti-hierarchical, anti-traditional, and anti-communitarian impulses of American Protestantism, secularizing its emphases on victimhood, guilt, and individual spiritual redemption. Historian René Girard has gone so far as to argue that all discourses on exclusion, discrimination, racism, etc. will remain superficial as long as they don't address the religious foundations of the problems that besiege our society.